Get my
Our
shirt.
guest today is Nicholas Askew, the director of swimming and diving and tennis at Howard University, the only NCAA Division I HBCU in the United States. Coach Nick, as he's affectionately called, coaches Howard's top swimmers who hail from around the globe. His coaching style and dedication to empowering these athletes has earned him several honors, including Coach of the Year and Professional of the Year. Currently entering his ninth season as Director of Swimming and Diving, Coach Nick led the men's swimming and diving team to a 2023 Northeast Conference Championship in February, the team's first title in more than 30 years. They then became the first all-Black swimming and diving team to land on the cover of Sports Illustrated, being featured in the magazine's February 2023 issue. Coach Nick, welcome to our program.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Thank you. Okay, you started competitively swimming at the age of 10. Can you take us through your journey as a young and eager athlete? What inspired you to pursue a college education at Howard University?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just really, really blessed. I grew up in a small town in North Carolina, not too far from the coast. I'm a water baby. There was a public park about just a block away from the home I grew up in Kinston, North Carolina. And I had parents who knew how to swim. And I had two older siblings that knew how to swim and that swam also competitively. So, just all those factors were in my favor, and took up the sport very early just because that was my daycare. Our parents were hardworking parents. They were like, okay, you all need to be busy doing something. And that something for us was recreational sports. The center, the park near my home had tennis courts, it had a track, it had a baseball field, and it had a swimming pool. So those are all the activities that I did all day, every day, especially in the summers and the long summer days. We would literally go through 5 or 6 different championships in one day.
Wow.
All
Okay.
my friends in the neighborhood and my siblings, and took a loving relationship to the water, especially, and joined the club team that was there and had a great coach as my very first coach, Coach Mary Resbus. She was a very tough coach, but she was a very motherly coach. She would nurture you and pat you on the back, and but she'd also put you in your place when you got out of line. And obviously there's a great respect for individuals who are capable of being able to do that. Continue to swim and show that I had some talent, I guess, God-given talent, and just continued at it and swam all growing up, all through high school. Also played tennis all through high school. Had the opportunity to get accepted to Howard University and continue to pursue, sports and my academics at what was really just the right place for me. My two
Right.
older brothers also had attended Howard and graduated from Howard, one of which swam and was a captain of the team. So continue just to follow in his footsteps and their footsteps rather. And Howard was a great place for me to be able to really learn about myself, to develop, even more as a young man and being able to pursue my academics as well as my athletic endeavors. So swam all 4 years, played tennis all 4 years here, and just cannot, say enough how much I appreciated that opportunity to be a part of this program and
Yeah.
have the upbringing that I did.
How wonderful. Yeah, you had a great upbringing. And okay, so our question now is competitive Black swimmers have long been underrepresented in college sports. In a sport that is generally white dominated, you have fostered a competitive environment for Black swimmers at Howard. How do you recruit potential swimmers for your program? And what are the most important traits a student athlete must have to be successful on your team?
Yeah, Howard is an HBCU, which stands for Historically Black College or University, and
Right.
that is the designation by far. But what a lot of people don't understand is just because it's designated as an HBCU means it's a Black school or a Black only school. HBCUs were founded in a time where essentially if you weren't white, you were not allowed to get a higher education. So HBCUs were founded for everyone, with this particular interest to, enslaved people who were newly freed to be able to pursue a higher education. And even to this day, you walk onto an HBCU campus, especially Howard University, and you see such diversity. We have representation from over 80 countries worldwide.
Wow.
While
Okay.
most of the students' population here are from the African diaspora, from either
Oh,
one of the many countries in Africa or from the Caribbean.
yeah. Oh my
There's such
gosh.
a diversity, and one of the commonalities is the shades of skin. And
Yeah.
but I always talk in my recruiting profile. There's a drastic difference between someone of the same skin tone from Detroit, Michigan, and someone from Ghana, right?
Okay.
That similarity is truly, it may be the only thing where they share experiences, but that there's that beauty and diversity, of being able to come together in such a place like Howard, which we call the Mecca,
Wow. The
to
Mecca.
be able to share thought, to share knowledge, and to push each other to greatest heights. As a part of my recruiting strategy, I always say that as you have to want to be at Howard. This has to be
Mm-hmm.
the experience that you want and you will find value in, and that's open to anyone. We we look at individuals. Obviously, number one is academic success. So you have to have a really high academic profile to be considered
Okay.
as a student athlete at Howard. You have to be, top of your class in your sport, whether it be swimming or even in diving for the programs that, specifically to me. And then the third and is what we get a chance to talk about as we're going through conversations is that character. You have to have amazing character. You have to have a high level of maturity, at
Mm-hmm.
this level, because there
Yeah.
are so many things that are here on Howard's campus and in Washington, D.C., that you can take full advantage of, but you have to understand your priorities, and you have to
Yeah.
also be able to make really good decisions,
Oh
so
my
that
gosh.
no one gets confused what your line of priorities are.
Yeah. You're a great mentor. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. So, as we mentioned earlier, right, in our introduction, you led Howard University's men's swimming and diving team to this year's 2023 Northeast Conference Championship. Can you help us put this historic win into perspective for our viewers?
I don't know if I can. I mean, honestly,
Congratulations.
thank you so much. It's such a journey, it's such a ride. One of the authors actually coined it as the season of destiny, and I think that's really
Oh,
the
wow.
best three
Wow.
words to describe exactly where we are and what we've
Perfect.
accomplished this season. The trajectory that we've been on in the last 9 seasons has been nothing short of amazing. Every year we've leveled up, we've progressed, and it's all been a part of the strategic plan that
Mhm,
myself and our coaching staff put together. Dr. Lynch, Salim King, Courtney Miller, Jasmine Payne,
mhm.
Jay Garzo on our strength and conditioning side, have all been fantastic and a part of this process from the very beginning. And to see it encapsulated at such a historic moment where the men's team won the conference championship for the first time in over 30 years,
Right.
it is crazy. I mean, we
It
take a look at
is.
this season by itself. We started the season just being shot out of a cannon, hit the ground running with putting together one of the biggest and most celebrated dual meets in all of college swimming history with the Battle at the
Mhm.
Berm, which was our home competition versus Georgetown University this year. I mean, we sold out a swim meet on an HBCU campus in October for just a dual meet. We had a VIP section, we had the DJs, we had Olympic medalists on the pool deck, we had a sold out crowd, we had an
Yeah.
overflow space. There was a performance by Tropical Rhythms.
Yeah.
We really, really, just
Great.
raised the level of the vibe and our natatorium. And from there, we continued our dual meet season to the point for the first time ever in Howard University history, both men's and women's programs
Yes.
finished with a winning record, a winning dual season meet record. So both teams were over 500 for the first time in our program history. And then, again, just to top it off with the conference championship. And this is a beautiful thing, not just for our men's team. We are two different teams, and there is a different identity to both teams, but we are still one program. We're still one family. So to see the women's team being able to celebrate this monumental accomplishment alongside our men's team this year has, just been heartwarming for me, because I know it's a lot of hard work and sacrifice that every person that's been a part of it has poured into the program.
Yeah.
So it really, puts a big smile on my face, and,
Oh my
makes my
goodness,
heart
you've
feel
done a
as
great
well.
job. You've done a great job.
Thank you.
During your time at Howard, you pursued a Bachelor of Science degree in psychology. During your undergraduate studies, you continued to be a committed athlete, balancing obtaining a degree and competing as a dual sport athlete in tennis as well as swimming. Mm-hmm. Do you have any advice for students that are currently attempting to balance college studies and athletics?
Yeah, the biggest advice is to keep your priorities in order. I'm a big fan of Mamba mentality, Kobe Bryant.
Mamba, yeah.
yeah. And, learned so much from just listening to him, reading, a lot of the articles and the literature that he published about, you make a plan, you make a pact with yourself, you make a commitment towards your goals. I often say, I run camp here at Howard University every summer, the Nick Askew Swim and Dive Camp. We have these sessions where we talk to the parents as well as the athletes, and we tell them your goals don't mean anything unless you've set a plan. And your plan doesn't mean anything unless you've actually made a commitment to that plan. And that's something that I think is really important for everyone to do, not just in athletics, but just in life in general. You can't have these lofty goals and you don't have a plan put together that's going to help you get there.
Right.
You have to understand that in the very early stages that, you're going to have to make a lot of sacrifices. There's going to be a lot of time commitment. There's going to be a lot of things that you have to have organized in order to put yourself in a position to accomplish these goals. And that's one thing that I really, really, speak to a lot to parents and student athletes, is make sure that the goals that you have set, you've put together a plan, and you've made a commitment to that plan to make sure that you put yourself in that position, because only the good Lord knows whether or not you're going to accomplish that goal. But at least you can look yourself in the mirror and say, I did deserve it because I stuck with it. I committed to it.
Yeah.
I executed to the best of my abilities.
Absolutely. I agree with everything you just said.
That's good.
Okay. Oh my goodness. You can talk to me. Okay.